Okay, in last session we will discuss about alternating quantity and direct quantity, difference between these two quantities, generation of alternating voltage, and some definitions which is related with the alternating quantity like cycle, phase, frequency and amplitude. Also we are discuss about phase. Today we will start with our session with the definition of phase difference. Now for defining a phase difference, you have to consider a alternating quantity wave have the same maximum value and have same frequency, but they all attain their zero and maximum values at different times. As shown in figure, we are having two alternating quantities waveform. First is the red waveform, another is the blue waveform. That initial value of red waveform is 0, but the initial value of blue waveform is some negative values. So if you are find the phase difference of any two quantity, then you have to consider any one point and you have to find the phase difference between these two. Suppose you are considering this quantity and the value of the red quantity at this particular instant is 0 and the magnitude of the blue quantity is somewhat different than this. So this gap is known as the phase shift, or you can say the phase difference between these two. If the both quantities are start from the 0 value, then it will shows that both the quantities are in phase, or you can say the phase difference between these two quantities is 0. But if the quantities starting point and maximum point is at different values, then there is some difference between these two quantity. This difference is known as the phase difference and which is shown in the figure. So this difference is known as the phase difference in form of angle or in form of time period. You can find the phase difference of these two quantities. Now as I discussed earlier, that red wave shape has its zero value at theta is equal to 0 and maximum at theta is equal to 90 degree. And the blue wave shape has a zero value at theta is equal to 30 degree and maximum at theta is equal to 120 degree. So you can say that both the wave have a phase difference of 30 degree, means the difference of the degree or difference of the time period between these two waveform is 30 degree for the zero values and maximum values of the individual waveform. So blue waveform reaches its zero and maximum value 30 degree after the red waveform. So you can say that blue waveform is lagging behind the red waveform by a 30 degree. Now if you are consider that the alternating quantity having a same frequency, then the phase difference between these two alternating quantity remains constant throughout the time period. If the frequency of the alternating quantity changes, then the phase difference between two quantities also change. For constant frequency it will remain constant, but when you are change the frequency of any of two quantity, then the phase difference will change. Okay, now we will discuss about RMS value for alternating quantity. So RMS value is a comparison between heat produced by alternating current and direct current. So as shown in figure, the first figure will indicate that we are connecting one bulb with the DC supply, and when you are connect this bulb with the DC supply, some amount of current will flows through the circuit, and due to this amount of heat is produced, or you can say that due to this current your bulb having some amount of brightness. Now this same bulb is connected with the AC supply, same way some amount of current will passes through the circuit, and due to that some amount of heat is produced. Suppose you have to find the RMS value for alternating quantity, then you have to compare the brightness of the bulb in such a way that if the two bulbs having same brightness, then the magnitude of direct current is exactly equal to the RMS value of alternating current. So for that, first of all, connect your bulb with a AC supply and measure the brightness of the bulb. Now the same bulb is connected with the DC. Due to DC supply, some amount of current will flow through the circuit. So due to this bulb having some brightness, now you have to compare this brightness with this brightness. If it is differ, then add one variable resistance in the circuit. As we know, when you are change the resistance of the circuit, the current passing through the circuit will change. So due to this resistance, the magnitude of current will change. Accordingly, brightness of the lamp will be changed. So you have to adjust the brightness of the lamp in such a way that it is exactly equal to the brightness of the lamp which is produced by AC. When you are get the same brightness, then the value of the DC current is exactly equal to the value of the RMS current which is produced by a alternating voltage given in the circuit. So the RMS value of an AC is the equivalent steady current, which is DC, when allowed to flow through a given circuit for a given period of time, produces same amount of heat as produced by the alternating current when it flows through the same circuit for the same period of time. As I discussed from the figure, that if the brightness of the lamp is same, it means if amount of heat produced by both the lamps are same, then its value is known as the RMS value of the alternating quantity. Now the RMS value, which is the root mean square value of an AC current, is also called the effective value of the alternating current. Now determination of RMS value. So for determination of RMS value, two methods are available. First one is the mid-ordinate method and second one is the analytical method. So first of all, we will discuss the mid-ordinate method. Okay, mid-ordinate method is applied for sinusoidal AC as well as for non-sinusoidal AC. Now as we are discussed earlier, to find the RMS value, you have to compare the amount of heat produced by the alternating current with the amount of heat which is produced by the direct current. So to obtain the RMS value using mid-ordinate method, first of all consider any waveform. This is a sinusoidal waveform. Divide your waveform into number of parts, equal number of parts, and measure the instantaneous value of currents for individual parts. As shown in figure, this is our alternating current waveform. We are considering only the positive half cycle. So this is our positive half cycle. I1, I2 and I3 will indicate the instantaneous value of current at the particular instant. And we will divide this waveform into m number of parts. This is our last current, which is Im. We will divide the waveform into m number of parts and time period of this particular waveform is t. Now as we know, if you divide any wave into 3 parts, then each part is of 1/3. So 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, so it will give you the answer 3. Same way, we are divide this waveform into m number of part. So each part is of t by m. T is the total time period and m is the number of parts. So each part is of t by m. Same way, same method you can apply for non-sinusoidal waveform. So this is our non-sinusoidal waveform. Divide this waveform into number of parts. Measure the instantaneous current for each part. Same way it is I1, I2 up to m, and each part has time period of t by m. So you can apply this method for both the type of waveform, sinusoidal and non-sinusoidal. Now you have to compare the heat produced in the different intervals. for a various value of instantaneous induced current. So for a first part, instantaneous value of current is I1 square, resistance of the circuit is R, and the time is T by M. As we know, heat produced in the circuit is equal to I square R into T. Now I1 is our current, R is our resistance, and T by M is our time. So this is your I square R T by M for a first part. This is I2 square R into T by M. This is for a second part. And same way you can find up to M number of parts, which is equal to Im square R into T by M. And the unit is joule. Now heat produced in T second. This is the heat produced by individual sections, and you have to find the heat produced by total waveform. So to find the total heat produced, you have to make the addition of all the sections. So this will give you the total heat produced by a total waveform. So it is equal to I1 square plus I2 square up to Im square divided by number of section, which is M. So into resistance of the circuit R and time taken, which is T. So this equation will give you the total amount of heat produced by a waveform. Again, unit is equal to joule. Now this is the heat produced by alternating current. Now if you are assuming that capital I is the current, which is a direct current, and which produced the heat, which is equal to I square RT. Now we have to determine the RMS value. According to definition, RMS value is equal to heat produced by DC should be equal to heat produced by AC. So this is the heat produced by DC, I square RT, and this equation will indicate the heat produced by AC. If you are compare this two and it will give you the same answer, then you can say this is your RMS value. So we are comparing this two equation. So it is like this: I square RT, heat produced by DC, is equal to I1 square plus I2 square plus Im square by M into RT, heat produced by AC. Now as we know, the AC and DC current will flow from the same circuit for the same time. So the resistance of the circuit is same and time is same. So you can cancel out this to RT, and RT is cancel out. So your equation is like this. It is equal to I square is equal to I1 square plus I2 square plus up to Im square divided by M. This equation is nothing but the mean value of I square. So I square is equal to mean value of I square. This I will indicate the DC current, this I will indicate the AC current. So this is the mean value of I square, and you can rewrite this equation like this. This is our DC current, which is equal to under root of I1 square plus I2 square up to Im square divided by M, which is equal to under root of mean value of I square. Similarly, RMS value for AC voltage, same equation you can find for voltage also. E is equal to under root of mean value of E square. E is the induced EMF. So in this method, what we are done, we are comparing the heat produced by alternating quantity with the heat produced by DC quantity, and after comparing this two, you can derive the equation for RMS value for alternating quantity, which is equal to I is equal to under root of mean value of I square. This is the mid ordinate method. Same way you can find the RMS value using analytical method. Okay, this is your analytical method. So to apply the analytical method, you have a two configurations are available. First is the full wave configuration, another is the half wave configuration. As you know, for full wave configuration you get the output from positive half and negative half both the cycles, but in half wave you get the output only for a positive half portion. So first of all we are considering the full wave configuration. So as shown in figure, this is your full wave, start from the 0 value and ends at 2 pi. This wave is the current waveform, and the equation for instantaneous current I, which is equal to Im sin theta, which is the instantaneous value of current. Now to derive the equation for RMS value, you have to integrate this equation throughout the time period. Okay, we are considering one complete cycle. So for one cycle your time period is t. So I is equal to under root of 1 by t, t is your time period, integration 0 to t I square d theta. As we had discussed earlier, in RMS value we have to consider the amount of heat produced by a AC, which is equal to amount of heat produced by a DC. So amount of heat is always proportional to the I square. So we are integrate this equation for I square. Now equation for I is Im sin theta. So you can rewrite this equation like this. Our time period is 2 pi. Our waveform is start from 0 value and ends at 2 pi. So here it is 1 upon 2 pi integration 0 to 2 pi Im square sin square theta d theta. Now as we know, Im will indicate the maximum value of current. It is constant with respect to time. So I is equal to Im square by 2 pi because Im is constant, and integrate for sin square theta only. So sin square theta is equal to 1 minus cos theta by 2. Now integrate this equation between 0 to 2 pi. So it is like this, Im square by 2 pi, here integration of 1 minus cos theta by 2, which is equal to theta by 2 minus sin 2 theta by 4, limit is 0 to 2 pi. After simplifying this equation and put the limit of